It is another beautiful day in West Central Wisconsin, and welcome to episode 109 of Bang on the Drum. As always, please remember to like, subscribe, download, share. Even if you don't like us, talk shit about us, share us because of that. But I am your host, P-Dawg, joined alongside my co-host M-Dawg. And M-Dawg, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well today. I think I had a good day. Downfall, I had a few things like this week that I had to do, right? So we got back from Vegas on Thursday, and I'll get right into my unders. Like I got a few of them. Just got back from Vegas on Thursday. The Vegas trip, fucking really good. Everything was smooth for the most part. One little hiccup in there, but if you're on vacation with your whole family, like one little hiccup is not that big a deal, right? So
No, not at all. I see, I was
yeah.
living proof of it, but whatever. Keep going. I admire you families taking young kids on trips after this week, but we'll hear about that later.
Oh yeah. So young kids on trips. It sounds like you have a little something to talk about with that. But my kids were excellent, right? So that could be an over. Is that like they were on the plane, like watch their tablets, watch the TVs in front of them, no issues. Now at the game, my boys decided that they wanted to have a karate match. So so the softball game I went to, like we're sitting in a suite, right? Like we have all this extra room. We don't just have seats. If we had just seats, I think my boys would have been better. But because we have the suite and we can like walk around and we're eating food and like just doing whatever the fuck we want, they decided that they needed to have a karate fight for like 4 innings.
Yeah, if you got a room to have a karate fight at that age, you gotta have a fucking karate fight.
Well, so that's not necessarily the issue. It's not just us that are in there. So like there's probably 40 people in there and like 25 to 30 of them are us. And then there's the other 10 people that like are my brother-in-law's like business associates families,
Nickel
right?
Fritz, man.
And like they had some little kids too, and some of their little kids were being a little bit wild too. But that was kind of my under for the trip is that they didn't have any desire to sit and watch this game.
Oh, dude, who would? Like,
As a
it,
yeah, as a 6 and 4 year old, I get it. Like I enjoy this game, right? And I thought my 6 year old was going to really enjoy it because during the home run derby, he was like going crazy.
who are the biggest names? So just explain who's playing, and then I
Yeah.
got
So the
questions about the
softball
biggest name.
softball game is the Golden Knights, who I basically know none of them, right? So
Jack
they're hockey.
Eichel, I want to say.
Eichel played. Yep.
Oh,
Uh,
damn. That's like a big name, I guess.
and then so Riley Smith is the guy that kind of started it and is running it. He just got traded to the Penguins. But Eichel did play. Who? Cleghorn? No, not Cleghorn. Um, Coglin, I think, was the guy who was the most impressive power hitter. Jose Canseco played for the Raiders.
That's weird.
Can, well, so the A's wanted to be part of it, so they like jumped in because the A's are moving to Las Vegas.
How's he doing? He got beat up by like a 22-year-old in Rough and Rowdy or something.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know that. Didn't wasn't doing great. He had to have knee surgery like within the following week of playing in this game, not because of the game, but he was going to have knee surgery anyway, so he didn't even run the bases. He was not very effective at hitting home runs either. But anyway, so on the Raiders side of it, probably the big guy is Max Crosby. Last year they had Josh Jacobs. They had Marshawn Lynch last year. I feel like there was another like really big name that was there last year that wasn't there this year. Dan Carlson was there. I was at Fan Fest when Dan Carlson was signing autographs, and I was gonna like my brother-in-law, but not the guy who runs it, but um, one of Kelly's younger brother, Sean. Him and I were gonna go up and ask like how good his brother is gonna be because Dan Carlson is the brother to the Packers kicker Anders Carlson,
Yeah.
and that we wanted to know that, and we didn't care like if we could talk to Dan Carlson. Like it had nothing like that wasn't like positive for us. But
No, I think that would have been fun for him too. Because I
like
mean, I'm sure
shit.
enough people know it, but like as a kicker, like I mean, we got Chris Jackie on, like no problem. Probably just happy like somebody wants to
who
talk to him.
who in reality is one of the best Packers kickers I remember. I mean, Longwell and Crosby are both very, very good. Like I'm going to give you that, but I'm putting Chris Jackie right there with those guys.
I mean, we've had three, but
Yeah,
Brett
that's our
Conway. I mean,
Brett
Brett
Conway's
Conway had a
bullshit.
year, but
Yeah. All right, and so I'll get into a couple other under. So today I was maybe not a couple, maybe just one. I thought I had a couple, but today I was doing some stuff on the side of my house, and it's like always in the sun, this part of the house. And so some of my siding blew off, maybe like early this winter, blew up, and it was just kind of there. And then I haven't had any issues with it, but it's up, and I can see that it's up. And so I went up to like dick with that. Well, bees had built a nest underneath there, which is not necessarily ideal. And so I get up there and I'm starting to putz with it, and then I get stung twice. And I'm on a ladder like 15 feet in the air, which was a little sketchy.
how bad does it hurt to get stung by a bee nowadays? I can't remember the last time I got stung by a bee, but I think it was still when I would cry if I got stung by a bee was the last time I got stung by a bee.
Yeah, I think most people are smart enough to stay away from bees, and like I'm just not intelligent enough, right? Um, I wasn't happy about getting stung. Like it hurt, and then it hurt way it hurt way more than like just right in the moment that they sting you, right? So like I went to like I went in my fridge and grabbed like a bottle of water after this, and I just extended my arm, and I could like tell that it was a problem, right? Like that I when I moved, my my body didn't like it either, right? That I was still moving after I get stung by this bee. But I got stung in the neck and then in the back of my arm. And so the one in my neck, I was like afraid that that one was going to like make my neck super stiff, but it was okay. So just being a dummy, was up on my doing siding stuff, got stung by bees today. Not
That
not good.
that is funny because we were talking. So we went out on a boat in the ocean, and my brother-in-law, what we parked on this island so we could just like anchor down, let the kids do some stuff, find like wildlife. They were all about the wildlife. They didn't care about like the jet skiing and the things like that. They just want to find like animals and shit, which I'll have more on later. But it was fun. It's funny you got stung by bees because my brother-in-law saw a bunch of not stingrays, but jellyfish. And he didn't tell anybody because it wasn't like where we were. And he didn't want my sister freaking out that there
Right.
was like jellyfish. And I was like, oh no, I got stung by those. And that was the closest thing I could compare it to. But like I said, I haven't been stung by a bee in a long time. But I think a bee sting hurts worse than those from the little experience I have. Because I got stung by them and like I was in the Persian Gulf doing some catching a football and something jabbed me in the side. And then everybody started getting jabbed. So, but yeah, it wasn't that bad. But
Did you guys
it's,
have to pee on each other?
we were doing that anyways, just for fun. So, so maybe that's why it didn't hurt that bad. We were immunized to
There you go.
the stings there. But do you got more for your overs and unders? You're in Vegas and all you
Yeah.
got is
So another kind of under for Vegas is that I didn't gamble $1. Didn't stop at a slot machine, nothing.
yeah. But you kind of go there as a business trip. You bring your family. I don't
Yeah.
blame you. I think the
Yeah.
only time I was ever in Vegas, the only gambling I did, I was trying to get in to a game of poker, Now I can't remember where this was, if it was in Biloxi or if this was in Vegas. But anyways, when I was in Vegas, the only gambling I did was the poker machine, like the 5 card
Okay.
draw machine.
Yeah.
So nothing too aggressive.
And then so for some overs, the trip went really smooth. I kind of explained that. Today I got a fair amount of stuff done. So I got the siding done. I had to go get some bee spray, kill some bees. Like I found at least 3 nests right up in the on this side of the house too. And then I found one in my shed that I didn't take care of yet because I don't want to spray shit all over in my shed. But there's a
Gotcha. But
big one, probably has like 15 bees in it.
you got those suckers back. They sting you, you kill their family.
Yeah, and so they still were kind of hanging around a little bit. And so I do think that bees need to have a little bit more respect for someone who murders their entire village.
Yeah, I guess
Right? So
so.
if I kill like 15 out of the 18 of you motherfuckers, just leave me the fuck alone after that. And I might have got the 2 that stung me too, right? They might have died because they stung me.
Or they might be flying over to another beehive recruiting people, saying like, we got mass murderers, infidels infiltrating our home, and we're gonna keep on coming. Doesn't matter how many of us die, we're gonna get that guy.
Yeah, so that could be the case. I could understand that, but right, so like I feel like what I did was kind of like, I don't know, like it's like the same premise as dropping a bomb on somebody, right? Like, right, and just like now, fuck off, right? I need to do something here.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but I got a fair amount of stuff done, and then uh, the railing on my deck broke, got that fixed. Had a good, like, overall pretty good week. I know what my other under was for the week. I had to work Saturday, and I that when I have to do that, that's always my under.
So you come back Thursday. Did you work Friday and Saturday then?
So we got back on Wednesday at like 7. We got back in Wilton, and then I worked Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Okay. You're a trooper.
Yeah, well, I don't like to burn up my leave. That's my
Yeah,
issue.
just to settle in. No,
Yeah.
I gotcha.
All right,
You
how was your week
my week,
or week and a half?
great week. So we're both in good moods. We're both usually I feel like when we're busy, there's someone doing something that's like fairly stressful, but it sounds like we were both basically in vacation mode. Why we
Yeah.
were pushing this one out kind of last minute. We like to get out one a week, but we both were busy with sounds like fun shit. You're going to Vegas. My whole family, or not my whole family, my sister's whole family came down. So she has 3 kids, her husband and her all came down to our place for a whole week,
Nice.
which was awesome. So that's definitely an over there. I guess an under would be one under would be is like I had to work for the majority of the time. They got in Sunday. I had Monday and Tuesday off. So we got as much crap done as we could. Monday and Tuesday, went out on a boat, um, went to the beach, and then I worked the rest of the week, but we got some fun stuff in, and I ended up getting off early one day, so that was nice. But the under in this situation is my brother-in-law comes in to my house here and is just way more of a man than me. Like he fixed things that I just didn't think could be fixed. So like all of my fans were apparently pointing. I forgot even that this was a thing that like fans could shoot up air or down air.
Yeah, so they're
So
pulling like the cool air up. Is that the idea, or pushing the hot air down?
so we're getting them pushed down now to get the so maybe he fixed it wrong if that's the
No,
concept
no,
behind it.
I don't think so. I think that, I mean, it's definitely more like cooler when they push down on you, right? Rather
Yeah,
than so
yeah.
And that's the goal, I would imagine.
So he noticed that immediately, fixed all the fans in our house. So our landlord, I think I can talk shit about her on here. I'm fairly confident that she's not going to listen, but she'll like take like a year to fix anything. She's been telling us we're going to get this new mailbox. We didn't even ask for a new mailbox. She just like text me one day and she was like, I'm gonna get you guys a new mailbox. It's gonna look real good. Now I kind of feel bad talking shit about her. But anyways, this has been like 4 weeks. And like there's a new mailbox like laying on the ground next to our old mailbox. And I just don't
really
know,
interesting.
know what's going on there. But
Are
anyway,
you
she like
supposed to put the mailbox in?
I don't think so. Yeah, maybe I'm the one missing the point there. So
I'm
yeah,
gonna buy
good
you a
point.
mailbox. Now you have to set it up.
Yeah, that could be. But we had the door that needed to be changed and fixed. Like we wanted our bedroom door to have like a decent door, whatever, whatnot. The doors were like flipped backwards. He noticed that. He fixed how that was. But yeah, he was just
What do you mean the doors were flipped backwards?
yeah, dude, I was confused by that statement too. So apparently doors like only go in one. So the catch on the door. So right,
Oh, okay. Yep.
if you like pushed the door, it would just open. Like you didn't have
Yeah,
to twist.
I got
So
you.
he fixed that like very easily. I honestly didn't even know. I was just like, well, this door kind of sucks. Like
It doesn't lock.
yeah. And then like he's just switched the doorknobs from one room to another, which I thought I didn't even think of. Just a bunch of shit that I like didn't even think of that he made like way more convenient in like being there for 2-3 hours. Like just like, no, you
He's
can
like,
just do this. Like you can just do this. And then we go out to the beach or out on the boat. And like I was saying, we were chasing like wild animals. He caught like a big ass freaking crab just with his bare hands. And like this is just like the crabs in the movies that like if you get close to them, they like square up on you. Like it's like they draw guns and like get ready to pinch you and stuff. And he grabbed it, and the thing just pinched the shit out of him. But he's got a 3-year-old, a six, oh no, an 8-year-old now, had a birthday, and a 14-year-old, and he wanted to make sure they all saw it. So this thing was just like clamping down on him, and you could tell it like hurt, and he was like, he waited for my wife to come see it, and he's like, all right, guys, you guys all done seeing it? like it wasn't like he let go because it was like hurting him. He just wanted to make sure everybody saw it before,
right,
not like a show off move, but like to be like, hey, this is pretty cool. We like caught a crab with our
right.
bare hand. But yeah, so that was kind of funny part of the under. And you know, like that's my under. My week was pretty good. But another one is our little Jack Russell Terrier corgi whatever mixed dog, my pal, does not do well with manic energy around him. Like
Okay.
his
So
job,
kids.
like
You're talking
he's a
about kids.
work, yeah, he's not good with kids. That's a long way of saying that is, but he's like a working dog, and his job is to like protect everybody and make sure like everybody's like settled in.
So he's kind of
And
a herd dog, right?
yeah, with the corgi in him. So like he likes stuff orderly. He likes like he'll even like do his blanket like in his bed a certain way before he'll lay on it.
Yeah.
So he's just like very needs stuff a
Meticulous.
certain way. And so he was decent with the 7-year-old. Real like the 14-year-old he was like pals with, but the 3-year-old,
Yeah.
he was, I think within the first 5 minutes he nipped his elbow. So then we were like, yeah, we were like, crap. Well, we're gonna have to do something about this. They're gonna be here for a week. So he would have to go like in and out of like muzzles like or just a muzzle. And he was very good about it. Like he didn't care. Like it looked like he was fairly comfortable with it on. Like he could lick, he could drink
Yeah.
water if he really wanted to with it on. So um
But it's
but
still like, as a dog owner, it never makes you feel good, right?
no, no, you feel awful, but
So when he nips him, right? So he nips him on the elbow. Is it to like get him in line? Like, was he like
oh yeah.
losing his shit? Okay. So I feel like I've heard of like herding dogs doing shit like that, right?
Mhm.
That like they try to like make sure that even like humans are where they're supposed to be. Like, so like if the kid's like running off in the wrong way, like they'll like try to herd them, right?
Yeah. And that, I mean, that's exactly what it was. And uh yeah, I have a buddy with a Moody is the type of dog it's called. It's like a pretty rare dog, but it's like one of the best like herding dogs in the world. And this dude's like a big time runner. So he got this dog basically to run like
With them.
miles with
Yeah.
him, like at a very fast pace. But he's still getting it trained. But that dog keeps when my wife and I go to visit, like he warms up to us. Like we stayed there for like a good 3 day stretch, and like by the second day he was kind of cool with us. But he would hurt us, like literally hurt us
Oh, interesting.
for the first whole day. Like he has nipped me on the ass before, and like I turned around, because you never want to yell at somebody else's dog, but it did kind of hurt. So if my dog
Yeah.
did that to like a
Little
3 year
kid.
old,
Yeah. Yeah.
like I imagine it was too bad, but I'll roll into the overs here. So with my family coming into town, like I said, we did a bunch of cool shit. But then they brought Foss's hot dogs. So we're stacked up on Foss's hot
Oh,
dogs,
nice.
stacked up on Spotted Cow, way stacked up on Sundrop, dude. I got enough Sundrops to lose a zillion bets. Like I was expecting them to bring like a 12 pack of Sundrop.
Did they fly down or drive?
They drove,
Okay.
and they got a nice van with like
Yep.
compartments and stuff in there. Uh, they convinced my oldest nephew that Spotted Cow was illegal to transport over lines. So they had like stowaway compartments, and they were pretending to be like
Like,
alcohol
uh,
runners,
yeah, like
moonshiners or
moonshiners.
whatever. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty funny. And then, like I said, we caught crabs. And sure as shit, dude, we taken the boat out, and we're asking because we're not going to like where we normally go to is like a part. It's called Crab Island. It's kind of a party place, and I mean, with kids, it's just not
Not
really the
ideal.
place to be. But we didn't even think of that. I was actually thinking we were going to go out there, which is not here nor there. Long story short, within the first 5 minutes of driving the boat, we had a dolphin just playing with us, like right next to the boat. So that was just super sick with kids. And then we turned the boat towards it, um, and turned the boat off. Like obviously we weren't trying to like hit it or anything, but and then it just like swam right under our boat and like kind of like ripped around and like played with it.
Oh, very
But
cool.
then took off. And then when we were at an island, two more dolphins came up, basically up to us. I was going out in the water to see how close they would come to me. And then my sister's like, dolphins aren't nice. I'm like, I'm pretty sure they are. They're like dogs in the water as far as I know. But I didn't get too close. Like I wasn't gonna go anywhere I couldn't touch to play with them. But if they came up to me and I was like standing with like only my waist in water, I was fairly confident that they couldn't
You could
drown
take
me,
them.
that I could choke them out. Um,
Yeah, I feel like I've heard that dolphins are relatively docile in the water. I've heard of people swimming with dolphins, but maybe those are more trained dolphins than like
I
wild
mean,
dolphins.
we've done one time a jet ski tour for dolphins, and we were like right next to them on jet skis. Like, I don't think anybody actually did get a chance to touch one.
Right.
But I mean, we basically could have touched them. And like nobody, we had a guy during that, and he wasn't like, oh, whoa, that's too close. Like he was just like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like they're coming pretty close to you guys. So wasn't too scared. But yeah, that's all I got. It was a great week. So like I said, normally when we're busy, it's usually like someone's got like a pain in the ass to deal with. And this time it seems, for me especially, I was having too good of a time to hang out with Mike and record one of these. But we're pushing out on the last day possible. It probably won't be edited. This will be the first one we don't get out
Oh,
in
you
a
think so?
week span.
Okay.
I'm gonna edit it on Monday, so that's
Right.
yes, yeah. So
Yeah, I
that's on
think
me.
we're okay. Like I'm not. I was actually thinking when I do because I don't anticipate not doing the Vegas trip. I guess most most years, right? For
Yeah,
that week, and so I was kind of thinking like maybe we need to just take this week off every year because
yeah, that could be.
I want to say that that was the first one I missed last year.
Yep, that sounds
And
right.
then was it after that that we had to do that I did the solo one or before that? There's always some times in the summer where like it's tough for us to get to.
Yeah, I think the solo one ended up being when I like in April or something.
Okay.
Uh, when I had like COVID in the Dominican Republic, and I got stranded there for extra time, maybe. I don't know. Whatever. We won't
It doesn't really
reminisce.
matter, but I just feel like in the summer we have it's things get tough sometimes. So
Yeah. Yep. And then I guess my last over I'll go with is this is kind of an over for both of us. Shows on the rise, buddy. People are listening. We had 28,000 views on YouTube, so that was a pleasant surprise. And then as far as this month, we have 287,000 downloads and 50,000 unique listeners. So we're
50,000 unique. So like in the last month we have 50. Okay, I get it. So there's 4 episodes that came out in the last month. Okay, I was a little confused there for just a moment.
yeah, and most of the stuff is on an uptick. I'm looking at our stock right now. I wonder if I can do this. No, I'm not gonna mess stuff up just so our YouTube video can look cool. But yeah, our stock right now kind of it's very volatile. I think I would buy it though. So if you're out there, buy
No,
it. Tell
don't
your
buy
friends.
volatile stocks. Bad idea.
Well, shit, dude, we would have been at 400,000, and then we would drop off to about $80,000,
That's
and now we're,
terrible. That's a lot of money lost.
well, if you sold up there and then you bought back in when we dropped down to 50,000, you'd be
Yeah,
back.
nobody does that shit. That's like a unique thing to fucking be able to do.
You'd be back near $300,000, and yeah, that's it. So, and then just minus 3 zeros from every number I said, and then
And
it'll
those are
be
the real numbers.
yeah, and that'll be fairly accurate. All right, so one of our biggest YouTube fans, we've been getting some comments. My mother-in-law turned into our biggest fan. So Paula, I'm going to give you a fair warning right now. This is the part where we start talking about sports that you don't tend to watch as much as we do. For lack, but there is going to be one Carlos Santana reference in there, but it might be a different Carlos Santana than the Carlos Santana um but yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. So she was commenting on her stuff. I thought I'd give her a shout out. Love you. But yeah, you ready to bark up Brewers?
Yep. Yep. So I'm gonna let you get into it, and then I'll just kind of add my 2 cents on things that I was paying attention to since I got back.
Oh yeah, I had some my oldest nephew and my brother-in-law watching some Brewers games with me, which made them quite a bit more enjoyable, I will say. So I like to do 10 games. So the Brewers are 4-6 in their last 10 games, coming out the gate swinging after the All-Star game, which by swinging, I mean throwing. So they were pitching incredibly coming out the gate. But since our last episode, the Brewers are 2-4. So it's been 6 games since our last one. And in no small part to the Braves just being probably the best team in baseball right now. They're freaking crushing it. They are an incredible team. I think they have the MVP in Acuna. I want to say, like, I didn't look this up, but I want to say at least 7 of their guys on the team have over 20 home runs. So
Holy cow.
power, yeah, like power from front to back. I could be wrong about that, but I think I am right because Acuna definitely does. Our boy Riley and Olsen, both have over 20. Yeah, and some of their other guys do as well. So they can hit up and down that lineup. And the Brewers cannot hit with runners in scoring position. And that's been quite frustrating to watch. So our solution to that problem was to go out and get Carlos Santana from Pittsburgh, who's hitting like 233. I don't know. I think it could be a little bit in response to Rowdy Tellez going down, maybe lighting a fire under Rowdy Tellez's ass because he's going to come and play first base and DH. So I guess that's what we're looking for. It's definitely not the move we need to make it to the next level to compete with this Braves team. But I guess it is a move. And I really, really, really want it to work out just because I like the Carlos Santana puns. Like, because I'm talking about Santana.
Yeah, I don't know that I knew that
Maria.
I didn't know that his name was Carlos, I don't think.
Yeah, it says it right in the song. So it should be his walk-up music if it's not. But yeah, and then we can change the lyrics. We got to come up with a song because it's like Maria, Maria reminds me of a West Side Story. So I already changed it to reminds me of a Midwest story.
Okay, that's a good move.
And then we're going, oh yeah, and that reminds me, I got a brain drain for the end of the show, but you got to remind me. It's about the Midwest. But yeah, like I said, pretty frustrating, leaving just tons of runners in scoring position. And not even just that, it's getting a runner to third base with less than 2 outs and just coming up with nothing as many times as they did. I want to say in the Red series, I mean, I know it was real bad. I have the stats up for how they hit with runners in scoring position. So in game 1, they went 2 for 16 with runners in scoring position. That was the game where they were getting damn near a guy to third base every time with less than 2 outs and not getting them in. I probably should have had the final scores up to that, but they did win that one. I want to say Yelich walked it off with a base hit. And
so
then
3-2 then, I think.
Yeah, 3-2. Then they lose the second game where Corbin Burns goes 6, gives up 2 runs. Our quality start didn't hold up there. They went 3 for 8 with runners in scoring position. So I guess that's not awful. That was above 300. So I guess you'll take that. But then in game 3, they go 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. But they do end up winning that one. I want to say that was a Tyrone Taylor home run. And then in the next series, they just get swept by the Braves, which the script kind of flipped on them. So they started pitching like shit, but they started scoring some runs. So they did score 18 runs in a 3-game series, which in our metrics, that should be good to win you 3 games, 6 runs a game, but they gave up 29 runs. And we'll just hammer the starting pitchers through this one. So Hauser starts game 1, gives up 6 runs. Terrain starts game 2, gives up 9 runs. And then Colin Ray starts game 3 and gives up 5 runs. So you got to give credit where credit's due. That Braves lineup is nasty. But if I could come up with an excuse for this, we were at a pretty bad point in our rotation to run into the Braves. I guess you could kind of flip that and say it's like a good point too, because then we're not, wasting Corbin Burns and stuff if we don't get the run support. But it was, I mean, Hauser's been all right. Terrain's been just a wreck lately. Ray's been all right, but it's not Corbin Burns and Freddie Peralta. We haven't had Woodruff for damn near the whole year.
Right.
But it's going to be tough to beat the Braves, no matter what you have. Yeah. But if we do get into a playoff series and we have Corbin Burns and Woodruff and Peralta, I think, there's a puncher's chance in that series.
So I guess looking at like the future of the Brewers, are they going to like try to make a move at all? Will they move?
Yeah,
so they have some like really highly touted young outfielders. Will they try to move anybody like that, or
yeah.
what's your kind of opinion on that?
One thing is, so with the extra playoff spots that have been added in the MLB, like there's just not as many sellers as there used to be.
Yeah.
Like when they're like, hey, I need to, either get the wild card or win. You got one wild card spot. And so that in general is going to make there be less sellers. And then on top of that, if you look at the standings as a whole, there's a lot of tight races going on. So like the Cubs have kind of been searching. They're 4 games back of Cincinnati in the NL Central. We are a half game back of the Reds after that Braves series. So, there's 3 teams in the Central that have that. The AL East seems to be
everybody's like 5 games above 500.
Yeah. So yeah, so let's say within 6 games. If you go within 10 games, that whole division's in it, which I don't think that's a bad thing to do. You go to the AL Central, they have 3 teams within 10 games or 3 teams within 6.5 games. The Braves kind of ran away with the National League East. Sorry, I'm bouncing around. AL West, 4 teams within 6 games of the division there. So that I don't think there's going to be
right now.
I just don't think there's going to be many moves made. And then it sounds like Shohei is it sounds like they must have some sort of deal in the works with him where they don't plan on getting rid of him. And like he seems to love LA from what I gather, which is not much information. So who knows, maybe someone will make them an offer that they can't resist. And then he'll be gone. But I just don't fully know, where we're going to pull this guy from. And then some of the guys that I see when I'm watching my recap rundown and stuff, lots of young, good players that teams just aren't going to part with right now.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure they're going to be on whatever those baseball contracts for, still facing like arbitration for the next 6 years type deal. So I guess that's a long-winded way of saying is I don't think there's much for us to go out and get. And on top of that, if we have to unload some of the stuff that we need to unload. I mean, we definitely need to unload a outfielder because we're gonna have Yelich, Sal Frelick's been lighting the world on fire, whether it
Yeah.
be defensively, offensively, since he's been up. We did ask him to come on the show before the season started, so give us credit there. I would just want credit for that. So give me credit
Yeah,
for
that was you. That was you that did that. I
Yeah.
did not.
Yeah.
I did not have the foresight there. So maybe we can try to get Jackson. I want to say churro, but that's the dessert.
Yeah,
right?
no, you're right. Yeah, Jackson Gerald.
Okay. I
We
feel
might
like
be
that.
saying it. I was definitely saying, so I was all saying Sal Frelick, which
And
I think I
Frelick, right?
just did. It's Freelick. Yeah, at least that's what the announcer said. The first game he was up, I had it on in the office I was working. I was like, this guy's such a dumbass. They keep saying Freelick, and it's Frelick. And then everyone kept saying Freelick, and I was like, okay.
But that's because the announcer said Frelick, right? And so maybe we just don't know.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Freelick.
There's definitely guys that they
Frelick.
fucked up before, though. Like,
yeah.
and
So
they'll
should
like
we
go
keep?
correct them like 4 years later.
Should we keep saying it the way I say it and just hope we're right?
No, I'm sure we're wrong, but that's not the point. We
Yeah.
can say it the way you said it.
But Frelick, however you want to say it, has been a great addition in the call-up department. Sounds like Garrett Mitchell isn't going to be ready to play until like mid-September. But Garrett Mitchell came up last year and was lighting the world on fire. Honestly, I just hope I'm super wrong about this because I love the way the dude rolls. But Joey Weimer just he doesn't agree with me.
Is he the odd man out?
I would think so. Like I would be thinking that's the guy that you would be able to part ways with. And they don't, and he starts every day because he's an incredible center fielder. I have dumbly said I don't think he's like that much of an X factor in center field, but he must be. And I've seen him make incredible plays, incredible throws. And I've came around on his defense. I have seen him look like a dumbass in the outfield. I know that that's not me making something up, but I just don't think the juice is worth the squeeze if we get an outfield with Yelich playing the way he is, put Garrett Mitchell or Sal Frelick in center field, the way that they hit the little bit that they've hit since they've been in the major leagues. I mean, both the guys probably have less than Frelick definitely has less than 50 games under his belt. I would say Mitchell probably still has less than 50 games under his belt. I could be wrong about that. And I'm trying to when Chiro, I don't think Chiro's, maybe he'll be a September call-up this year. So I guess
I would guess he probably would be being, he's a double A guy though. Maybe not.
Yeah. And I am hopefully going to see him next weekend for real.
He's going to get
time.
pushed
He's
up
not
to
gonna
triple A just like when you get there.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. That's what will happen. But
so
I guess
I do have a question for you that has nothing to do with baseball. So you're going to see them. So you're in a different, are you guys moving back to Jacksonville for the school year? Or not Jacksonville, maybe Tallahassee for the school year?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So you guys will be off the beach town and back in.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I should have asked you that when you were like talking about your vacations and stuff, but
no. All good.
I thought that was the thing, and then I was like, well, maybe they are there long term if she's buying a new mailbox and like all this other bullshit. But
no, we'll be back in Tallahassee. But I'm getting back on the Brewers here. After getting swept by the Braves, let's go to the good news that we have. Woodruff is making a rehab start in Nashville Tuesday. Brian Anderson, who I know struggled a little bit, but he's going to be getting a rehab start sometime this week in Nashville as well. And then Wade Miley will be reinstated from the 15-day DL, and he's going to start in Washington on Wednesday. And that being said, is we get to go from playing the Braves to playing Washington, Pittsburgh, Colorado, and the White Sox. So, like I said, the league has been pretty competitive, and it is baseball, but those are 3-4 series until we get to Los Angeles, until we get to the Dodgers, that we could go on a pretty good run here. So that is good, but that is all I got for barking about the Brewers. You got any questions? Feel like
No, like
encompassing it.
the thing that I saw is that, right? So out of, I think last Friday we started playing the Braves, had one series from like probably Monday through Wednesday, and then this Friday we started playing the Braves again, and that's just a super rough stretch. And the in between there was Cincinnati, the division leader, who we've played well against all year. I'm not.
Yeah, I want to say the season, and they said it at the end of the game, but I want to say we're like 14-4.
Yeah,
or
we've been
some
whooping the
yeah.
shit out of Cincinnati all year, and that might have been the last series with them for the season, or maybe one more. So we're going to end up winning that series.
Yeah, no, that's the last time we see the Reds all year. We're done with them.
And so I actually don't like. I think we went 1-5 against the Braves, but the Braves are the pretty easily the best team in the NL, I think, and so I'm not overly concerned about that record when it comes to like whether we can make the playoffs or whether we can make a push to go even kind of deep in the playoffs. And then without at least one for sure playoff starter, right? And then Wade Miley's out. I wouldn't ever imagine that the three guys, I guess Hauser would be a guy that we push
Would
out
roll out against them. Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna if he's not starting in a game in the playoffs, he's going to be pitching in a game in the playoffs, right? He might not start, but he'll pitch. He'll be in the bullpen. We'll use him, but the other two, I don't know if would even get used.
Yeah, and we definitely got to pull someone on here, whether it's my boy Chip or the Brewers Raptor, and pick their brains on, who you going with. So I think if you need a fourth starter, that's that. Granted, no one gets injured again. If you need a fourth starter, who you going with? Because I think it's pretty easily your three that you're going with right now is going to be Burns, Woodruff, Peralta, if Woodruff comes back all right. And then you get to choose between Miley, Hauser, and Ray for your fourth starter, if you need a fourth starter in that situation. And I think Freddie Peralta could maybe ride the fence with that. From what I've been seeing, he's been pitching pretty damn well lately. So it looks like he's going to be the third guy in there. I guess he's 6-8 on the season, 4.46 ERA. Does it give me like a game? So his last few games. So he did get shelled against the Braves in the last series, but so maybe everybody's just getting fucking shelled against the Braves.
Well,
so
I mean, the Braves offense is extremely good, and if you're not really on your P's and Q's, they're going to get you. That's the way it goes.
I do want to fact check myself just out of like pure curiosity of how many guys they have with over 20 home runs. So they have 1, 2, 3. Matt Olson has hit 35. So 4, 5, Did I say that 5 guys with over 20 home runs, or did I say more? Because they have 5 guys with over 20 home runs.
You thought
And
it
then
was the majority of their lineup, which I guess 5 is the majority of their lineup, right?
Yeah.
So 9 guys that are probably playing most of the time to over 20 home runs. I don't know if you have like seasons like that, and that we still have 2 months left.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, Olsen 35, Acuna 24, Austin Riley 24, Ozzy Albies 24, the Azuna, or so Marcel Azuna, their DH has 22, and then their catcher has been shit in the bed and he only has 17. And then their
What a
left
piece
fielder,
of shit.
and then their left fielder has 16. Whereas, all right, I just want to give the people something to compare to. Sorry, I'm going down stats, nerdy shit right now, but
That's like the 2008, like 2009, 2010 Brewers. Like they had so many guys that would hit bombs.
so whereas right now the Brewers leader in the clubhouse is Willie Adames with 17 home runs. Christian Yelich has 16 home runs. Joey Weimer is in third with 12 home runs, and Rowdy Tellez 12. So yeah, we don't even have one guy over 20 home runs, and they
got 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like I said, I bet you if you look at most teams, I'm not saying they're like 1 or 2 guys over 20, because guys to hit even 25 bombs in a year is pretty impressive. Like,
Yeah,
it's impressive if a guy is in the 2020 club, right, or whatever. I mean, it's not unheard of, but it's impressive to do. And so, I think at this point in the season to have 20 home runs, like I feel like you are like one of the elite power hitters in the league, because you're going to end up with 30 to 35 because you have 2 months left. Maybe not quite that many, but it's ridiculous to have 5 guys over 20 home runs.
No, it is insane. And I like how you said the 2020 club, where Acuna has 51 stolen bases this year. So he's on pace to be in the 40-40 club, which I want to say maybe Bonds is in. I don't even know if Bonds was.
I think Bonds and Griffey got it.
Okay.
But I'm not positive on Griffey. I'm pretty sure on Bonds.
Yeah. I would have to fact check that, but I am gonna need to take a quick pause here, and then we'll get to the Packers stuff. So that was our quick P-Dawg trying to kill a cockroach that disappeared in the house break. But we'll get back into this, and I think Mike got a little data on the 40-40 club, so give it to us. Can I try to name a couple?
So there's 4, and so if you can get them, I'll be awfully impressed. Go ahead.
So Barry Bonds is definitely one of them.
Yep.
Ricky Henderson definitely didn't do it. He didn't pop 40.
He definitely did not. A teammate of his, I believe, did.
Okay, so Jose Canseco.
Yep.
Okay, that's 2. I'm just trying to think of Griffey is probably 3.
Nope. No Griffey.
Can you give me an era?
So they are all from our era of baseball.
Okay.
So mine, I'll say mine. Except Canseco. So Canseco's happened in '88. That's why I'm not saying it, but he was definitely like a huge part of like baseball when I was growing up.
And I want to say someone's done it semi recently. Or am I?
No, not really. So like all like superstars from over 15 years ago.
All right. I think all of our listeners had enough time if they were trying to think of them. So give them to me.
Right.
I don't think.
So we got A-Rod with the Mariners in '98, 42 bombs, 46 stolen bases. And then Alfonso Soriano with the Nationals in 2006, 46 bombs and 41 stolen bases.
Yeah. A-Rod seems obvious to me.
Yep.
Or,
But like only a young A-Rod, like an old A-Rod, didn't steal any bases.
yeah, but even if you told me, I guess he didn't bash dingers like that maybe for Seattle. He did it with Texas, right?
I mean, so Seattle, he's at 42 home runs, I think.
Okay. So he
Pretty
did it with
good.
Seattle.
Right in the middle of the like juicing era, though, like all those guys kind of land. I guess Soriano might not.
Yeah, but he's a fringe guy. But whatever. We're all in favor of juicing on the podcast. Well, you're definitely in favor.
Yeah. So I think most sports would be better with juicing, and then
Let's
baseball,
not go
100%.
down. Yeah, let's not go down that one again. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Acuna's pace would be right now, but
So I think that he's gonna like to end up with in the 40-40 club. I think would be very very difficult, right? So you said he is at 22 or 24 bombs.
24 homers.
So I think so he's hit 24 in 4 months. So to hit 16 in 2 months would be pretty impressive, especially at the end of the year. Like the end of the year, guys generally just get tired and kind of like just aren't as efficient.
I want to say the Brewers' last game was game 100. So yeah, easy math here. The Braves have played 103 games. So
Okay, so they got 59 games left in order for him to hit 16 home runs. That's like pretty good.
That's going on a tear. Yeah, that's going on a tear.
Yeah.
So he'll be in the 30-30 club. I think he's going to be the MVP as well this year. But are you sick of the stat wormhole that I'm down, or can I go to some lead leaders?
Let's
okay,
so
let's move on.
Let's jump on to some Packer stuff. And
Go
so
for
like
it.
and everything I've been hearing about the Packers is that Jordan Love is having like a pretty good camp, that he's improving every day. I have seen that he can hit the net thing that he missed in his rookie season, so his accuracy must be significantly better now. I don't know. I've heard a lot of positive things about wide receivers, and then I've heard a lot of positive things about Van Ness and Kenny Clark. Like Kenny Clark's old man's getting out of prison. And so like they think that he might have a ridiculous year because relatively like motivated by his old man getting out of prison.
That's pretty cool. So I'm gonna credit my source here, and I'm gonna read his 5 headlines. So it's Wes
Hodzik.
Yeah, good job. Look at you, Wes. So his 5. Number 1, Jordan Love and the offense had their best showing so far. Love goes 16 of 22 on passes during team periods while leading the offense to the 1-yard line for the end of half for a field goal. Need to punch that in for a touchdown.
Get your shit together, Love.
Quay Walker's offseason centered on self-improvement. So nice to get Quay Walker even better than he already was in his rookie year. Number 3, the Packers haven't been shy about giving Lucas Van Ness everything he can handle. So kind of to what you said, looks like they're throwing the whole book at him. He's doing all right with it. Defense won competition period again, evidently, it says. And then
are they not letting Barry call plays, or what's the deal? How can they win if Barry's calling plays?
Wait, say that again.
If Joe Barry is calling plays, how are we winning anything?
The defense, or
are they letting like an intern do it for the training periods, or what?
I get what you're saying. I get the joke now. Yeah,
I actually don't hate Joe Barry that much, but like,
yeah,
he definitely has some weird tendencies.
my football brain needed to get turned back on. I thought you were calling out the offensive coordinator, but you were calling out the defensive coordinator. Gotcha. Old Barry. All right. And then the last one, the Packers are off Sunday and then go on to pads. So it sounds like Monday they're putting the pads on.
So
And
really nothing means anything right now because they haven't even been playing in pads.
exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking at just like the projected starters and stuff that I was seeing on ESPN today, it's our wide receivers. I think that's where it looks like our offensive line is good. Our defense is good.
So I think we got two big holes I shouldn't say two, because I think really all of our skill positions are a hole, except for Aaron Jones. I think everybody else is like unproven at the very least. I don't think we have any skill position players that I feel like, oh my God, these guys are going to light up the world, except for Aaron Jones. I think Aaron Jones, if you wanted to give him the ball 40 times a game, I'd be like, all right, I get it. Everybody else can't function right now. Right. And then I think our safeties are a problem. But I think our big concern is wide receivers and safeties. I think Love is a concern with the fact that he's a first year quarterback, right? Like it's going to be his first year really playing. So that's going to be a concern. And you'd like to have him surrounded with veteran wide receivers rather than rookies and second year guys. But we have what we have. And hopefully they're going to grow up together and be dominant long term.
And is it like clear cut that I might have missed this and you might have brought this up, but Mason Crosby's gone. Anders Carlson is definitely our place kicker.
I don't know for sure. I feel like Crosby signed somewhere, but I could be wrong. Yeah.
So yeah, then the kicking position is going to be a question mark again.
Oh yeah, yeah, which is really a question mark for the first time in really a long time.
Yeah,
because at least you knew who was kicking. It does sound like there is
so
a punt like competition going on. So they sounds like, which would mean that there's two good punters, that we're not like just we don't have anybody good.
All right. So here's a headline that comes up when I Google Mason Crosby. So Green Bay Packers fan want Mason Crosby back after Anders Carlson goes 1 of 6 on Saturday. But I don't know, man. Kicking, I guess I really don't know in that situation. Do we want to just change the page? Because if we flip that page, I can't remember. This is gonna be dumb. Then we got nobody from the Super Bowl team because Bakhtiari was a little later.
Is that right? Nobody left from the Super Bowl team. I mean, that's 12 years ago. That isn't that surprising.
No, it's not. And if your kicker is your last guy, like that's not like,
not surprising either, right? Like
yeah.
that guy has longevity, and then him and Rodgers would have left the same year, right?
Yeah. So, yeah.
So I'd be fine turning the page and just finding the next kicker. Now, I do know that is more challenging than it's in a lot of cases. It is just like finding a quarterback, right? Who are you going to replace him with? Not everyone can walk in there and make kicks. They just can't.
Yeah. I'm going to do a better job of my roster, not just knowing position players and stuff this year. So this is going to be our first preview of knowing everybody. And I mean, everybody is a familiar name. So let's start with the offensive line, which I think, and this is a projected, I think. So I didn't do a great job sourcing this. So at right tackle, we got Zach Tom. So familiar face,
Yep.
do that.
Second year guy.
Yeah. Right guard, John Runyon. Another. Yep, he's back. Josh Myers at center.
Back again, second year guy. How old is Runyon? Maybe it doesn't matter. Like
So he was born in 97. So it's making me do 25. Doesn't make me do math.
So he's pretty young, probably 2 or 3 years in the league.
Yeah. And then we have Jenkins back at left guard. And I mean, he's moved all over the line. And then we have David Bakhtiari, but I feel like that's always like, do we have David Bakhtiari?
I think that he is locked in. He's ready to go now.
Okay, good.
That's my personal like feeling on it. That if he misses some practices, that's fine. Like he is the vet of vets on our team at the moment. Like I think he might be the longest tenured Packer at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got to be. Yeah, whatever. Not on something where we can Google that real quick. But with the line being said, then we have Yash Neiman still that isn't starting. That's played significant amount of time in this.
Right, and if he has to ends up playing where Zach Tom's at, I mean, like that's not something I'm upset about. I think I've made the argument that if you're going to take a tackle with the first overall pick, you should call about Yash Neiman. Like you should do that.
I don't think you're getting a first round pick out of him, but
I'm just saying, like if you're going to take a tackle with the first overall pick, right? Like you could probably just say you have the number 1 pick and the number 33 pick. You could offer up the 33 pick pretty easily if you're going to take it, right? Because you know that he can lock down the corner on left tackle in the NFL. You know that, like it's guaranteed. I know that he's older. He's like probably like 28.
Yeah, but I don't even feel like he's 27, and honestly, I don't even feel like offensive line is surprisingly one of those positions where they play quite a bit longer than you would expect. Like, I think if you have like a 35-year-old offensive lineman, you're not like, we got an old, like maybe a little bit, you're like, we got an old guy, but like, you're like, maybe we can get 2 more years out of him type deal.
And I feel like they have longevity in a way that a lot of positions don't have. Right.
Yeah. Running back.
Running back, wide receivers. I think wide receivers getting over the age of like 31, 32, like doesn't exist. They just slow down too much. Like obviously there's guys that were exceptional and played till they were like 40, like Jerry Rice did. But for the most part, I think you get it 34, 35, 36, you start losing a step from when you were 22, and it just matters.
Yeah. And Rice was a different dude. Like, he played the game with his mind, I want to say, as
probably
his
more
biggest,
than his body.
Yeah, as his biggest weapon as a young dude, even. I mean, he was extraordinarily talented, like fast, sharp route runner, stuff like that. I'm curious to see like what his stats were from like 35 to 40, because I mean, definitely
I don't think they were exceptional.
No. But I mean, an asset to have on your team is like the hardest working guy in the league. Like,
and you see a lot of corners go from being like lockdown corners into like the safety position. They move to a position that doesn't take the speed or like quite the same amount of athleticism as they age.
Yeah. But yeah, like roster wise, I want to do a little bit better this year, and I think we are going to. Do you want me to run down projected starters?
No, let's go with the depth at the offensive line position for right now.
Okay.
And how we kind of feel about that.
So that's good. I I do want to throw the tweener in there with tight end position, just because it's an easy one. And that's just such a big question mark. Is right now they got Luke Musgrave starting there with Tucker Kraft second and Joshua DeGuara taking a step back. That was one of my bold predictions.
But I think DeGuara is going to play more of like a fullback role. Right? Like, I think that he's not like a true tight end. He's more of like a fullback, not H-back, like not necessarily a tight end is what I'm saying. Like a guy that lines up in the backfield more than he does on the line.
Yeah, or like in like a wing T-ish.
Yeah,
a step off the line type deal. So that's our offensive line breakdown. Is we got a pretty fucking good offensive line.
So we only listed 6 offensive linemen and then 3 tight ends.
Okay, so you want me to go Caleb Jones, Sean Ryan, Jake Hansen, Royce Newman. So as the backups, I
don't know them.
I know Royce Newman, Yash Neiman for backups, but I don't know Caleb Jones, Sean Ryan, or Jake Hansen.
Did they draft Sean Ryan this year? I feel like he might be a rookie.
You're a draft guy, but yes, they did out of UCLA. He's 22, so no, they didn't. So this is his second year of NFL experience.
Oh, okay. So. All right. So like, if we stay healthy on the offensive line, we should be fine. And even if we don't stay healthy, Neiman, Tom, and Jenkins can probably figure out what's going on there.
Yeah, and I feel like there's been so much experience gained from Bakhtiari being such like a health question mark the last couple years. Is like Yash Neiman's played right tackle, left tackle. I don't know if he slipped into a guard spot, but it seems like Zach Tom has slid out to a tackle spot before. I could be wrong about that, but it seems like we got guys that have played all over the line, which honestly, I don't know how that could be anything but a good thing. Is that we've got guys that have played all over the offensive line. So sure, we're going to want them in their specific position that they're comfortable in, but these guys have dealt with shit when shit hit the fan. So.
Right. And so, I think year in and year out, we have a solid offensive line. Now, Rodgers could have helped that quite a bit because he was so quick with his release, but I think generally our offensive line is good. And I think if guys stay healthy, we'll be good to go on the offensive line.
I like it. Is that we're going to wrap up barking about the pack? Or no, that's running with the pack. We gotta remember our segment names now too. That football season's getting close.
Yeah, now that we're got 28,000 listeners on our YouTube subscribers.
Yep.
Subscribers, not even like just listeners. Subscribers.
No, we only have 19,000 subscribers. 28,000 viewers of the last one that we put out. So
yeah. I guess I don't know the human that subscribes to a YouTube channel. I don't understand that human.
I didn't until we started doing this, and then we get guys in our DMs like, "Oh, subscribe to yours if you subscribe." So that's probably 10 of ours. So more of our
maybe at least it might be 15, which is fine. I don't care. But if get the views from them. But on YouTube, I never even signed in I had never signed into YouTube until I started doing a podcast.
And now I have 2, so we get an extra one. Well, the banging on the drum and then mine. So so I guess we only get an extra one for that. Right. But do you want to drive fast and turn left for us here, Mike?
Yeah, so I will. So last week, Sunday, Martin Truex Jr. took third. I didn't catch how many points he had. Ended up in third, and then this week, earlier today, ended up seventh. So back on his like winning ways. So he goes, what was it like? First, third, seventh. So he just won the Crans 301 race or whatever, and which kind of like gave me a little chuckle when I read which actual race it was, and it was called like the Crayons. It was amusing
Like
to me.
like back to school crayons
Yeah, I think
advertising?
so. I don't know if
Crayon.
it was it. Yeah,
The ones
crayons,
that
like
taste
Crayola crayons.
pretty good. Okay. Okay. Yeah, no, I like that.
That's the way it seemed to me. I could be wrong about that, but I did think that that was kind of funny. He won that one, and then third, seventh. I can deal with that.
Yeah. So he's got 744 points, which he's leading the Cup Series in points, but we need to get that one more. We need to catch checkers one more time to catch that boy William Byron that has been catching the most checkers this year. He's won 4 races. We've won 3 races. I'm going to start using 3, but we're tied in top 5 finishes with 8, and then we have more top 10 finishes with 12 to William Byron's 11. So we have one more top 10 finish than him. Kyle Busch is nipping at our heels a little bit, but honestly, the next closest guy in points is Denny Hamlin, but he needs to get a race. Whatever. I'm not gonna overanalyze this. I start seeing numbers. I must like numbers a little bit.
So-
Like I must have that baseball number thing in there because
So Denny Hamlin just won a race last weekend. Truex got third, and he just won.
Okay. And I think I can quick sort these. So we're in first with 744 points. Denny Hamlin in second, 705. William Byron, 701. So I mean, we're 39 points ahead of the closest person, and we still don't know what a point is.
I have no idea. I assume that the
we
top 5 finishes, top 10 finishes matter. Leading for laps, wins. I don't know. I have no clue.
I don't know how much I like leading laps as being a point, though. I feel like it's got to be all about the finish. But yeah. Because it's like giving a team like points in the standings for scoring the first points of the game. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh,
I do.
they ran out fast.
So I think hockey kind of does that, though. They get points in their standings for points.
Yeah, but they get points like win, loss, draw. No, because they don't draw anymore. So win, loss, and then like
Goals.
There's nothing with goals. I mean, there's tiebreakers with goals, but like there's no points for goals. It's the same as football. It's like if it comes down to it and you have the same amount of whatever your division record, this record, that record.
Yeah, that
and then it comes down to points is like later one. But are you ready for my brain drain?
I am excited about a brain drain here.
So I keep hitting that we have Santana on our team now, just like the singer. And I'm changing the lyrics from Maria Maria, reminds me of West Side Story, to Dinger Dinger, reminds me of a Midwest Story.
Dinger Dinger, huh? Okay.
I like it. Dinger Dinger reminds me of a Midwest Story. But anyway,
isn't there the score like the scorekeeper girl that is at all the Brewer games that like it could be that? What's her name?
Front row Amy, front row Amy.
Well, it could just be Amy, right? Doesn't
Amy,
have to be.
Amy.
Yeah.
Remind me of them. But do you know why the Midwest is called the Midwest?
Nope. I can't say that I have like a real answer. I just assume that it's between the East and the West. And so it's the middle of the West.
All right. So I know there's a lot of people out there, me included, because when I was making up my song, it made me think about the Midwest again, and that it's kind of like a stupid name for a large portion of the country. So let me look at this map for you guys real quick. So the Midwest contains Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana.
Okay. So Kansas is, yeah, I guess I'll give it that.
See, and that's like where I think the dispute is, because I think when you get out to the West, like I feel like Colorado is like the most misplaced state. Like, not say if you're like filling out stuff, but we've went over it before. It's like it's kind of south-ish, like it's central.
I think part of Colorado is definitely south.
Yeah, I mean, if you're touching New Mexico and Arizona, like
Yeah.
whatever it gets. But I think I'm gonna call this one, instead of the brain drain today, as if you didn't know, now you know, sucker. So in the 1850s, Americans tried to grapple with those new territories and settled on Middle West because the territory sat between the southwest of Oklahoma and Texas and the northwest of the Dakota Territory. That is, Americans understood the Midwest as a place west of the Mississippi, but between north and south. Did that make sense at all? Because it didn't make sense to me.
Nope. So I mean, so if you're including Illinois, I mean even Wisconsin, right? So we fall east of the Mississippi,
Yeah.
right?
So
Indiana,
that is,
Ohio,
Americans
Michigan.
understood the Midwest as a place west of the Mississippi, but between north and south. Which I don't know, man.
So
I just
like I
think,
actually think the Midwest, I think that a good way to describe the Midwest would be the northern half of the United States that falls between the Appalachian Mountains.
in the Rockies.
And the Rockies, I'm sorry. Right. So between the mountains, right? So east of the Appalachians is all the eastern United States, and the West Appalachians or the Rockies. West of the Rockies is all the West, from like Colorado all the way out to the coast.
Okay.
And so because the Appalachian Mountains run through like Pennsylvania, even though it's on the east side, they fall in the east. And then everything coming this way from Pennsylvania is Midwest. So right, that's like Ohio, Indiana, Michigan.
Okay, so I'm kind of zoning out on you a little bit. Can you reiterate that one more time?
Okay, so the Midwest falls between the Appalachian Mountains and the Rocky Mountains. And then it falls in the northern half of the United States.
Yeah, so, no, that's a good cut of what it actually is. Yeah.
And I'll give it's whatever the Missouri Compromise was, right? So Missouri is in the north because that latitude line.
The
right?
Mason-Dixon?
Yeah, they fall above that. So they couldn't have slaves, and then below that to the south they could not, or they could have slaves and then they could not. And so that's the differentiate for me between North and South in the United States.
Okay.
It's,
Yeah,
it's
maybe
slave owning
it's
versus non-slave owning states in like the 1850s.
yeah, I don't know. I just think it needs to be redrawn a little bit. But what do you consider Kentucky?
I would assume.
And Kentucky is damn near parallel with Colorado.
Yeah. So I don't think that Western states are considered the South. Texas
No,
is Texas is as far west as you can go and consider something the South.
you're doing good. It's like you're looking at this picture.
I
All
am
right.
not. I am not.
What about West Virginia?
I feel like they're actually relatively far north, right? But I assume that they fall in the South.
They are
Where
also in the South, and
but they shouldn't
also
be in the South because I believe, if I remember my US history correctly, that the reason we even have West Virginia and not just Virginia is because they seceded from Virginia because they didn't want to own slaves.
okay. So West Virginia was like the good ones. I just got a cockroach. I'm pretty happy about that, but it is pretty gross. It's a
Yep.
gross scene over at the house right
So
now.
like maybe I'm like I know Virginia was in the South, right? Because that's where General Lee was from, was Virginia, somewhere in Virginia, where I think West Virginia basically said, we're not in on this, like we're out.
All right, we're gonna secede from you. We don't want to.
I don't know if that's like
Absolutely.
the right term that you use, but I'm pretty sure that like that's how West Virginia was formed.
Interesting state right there. So, if you had to say what your most underrated state is, or what would it be? Or what's your best? What do you think the best state off the top of your head is, other than Wisconsin? That's easy 1-1.
Yeah, that one, like, no doubt, it's Wisconsin, right? I don't know. Like, I don't ever really consider anything else in the Midwest to be like anywhere near on par with Wisconsin, even though they're all essentially the same. Like, I don't consider them to be this like anywhere near us.
Yeah, I think you got
I'm
so
I'm in general, I'm dismissive of the South, right? Like I just assume that they're not good. The West, I feel like, for the most part, are kind of um like yuppies, like people who just think that they're better. I think if I wanted to move to a state,
if we were like not international,
I
but
guess I
like
think that about the Northeast too, is that they think they're better than me.
yeah, so the Northeast, I would say, doesn't appeal to me at all, but I could find
Maybe
space everywhere else.
Like Maine. I think
It's
I could
probably
deal in Maine.
sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can deal in Maine. Um, in the Northeast, that'd probably be it. Western Pennsylvania might be okay, which is more like nothingness, right? Things that I like. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna go with like a mountain city in like Montana or Idaho. I think Wyoming, maybe
Okay. And
one
I
of those
would
three states. I think is where I would settle out. Is go west. I'd
I
end up
think
west.
yeah. I think the South is very underrated.
I
I,
think you're probably right, and I know in my mind that I shouldn't judge them quite the way that I do.
and North Carolina might
Ooh,
be
yeah.
the best state. You got mountains, you got ocean, you got everything. Like beautiful mountains as well. To boot. So if I had to pick one from each place, I think I would go North Carolina in the South, Wisconsin in the Midwest. Probably go with you with Maine in the Northeast, because if you're gonna make it suck, like at least have some lobster. Um Yeah, and I like your Wyoming or Montana pick because I think Colorado gets too much play. Like Colorado is on everybody's radar as a very cool state, but
Yeah,
I think your Wyoming is probably just as beautiful, if not more beautiful,
with less
and
people.
with less people. And I think that covers it. Like that's all.
Yeah, and I did make it to Utah this last week too. So I went through Nevada, and then you drive north to Arizona from Nevada, and then uh, into Utah, which was very weird. I thought. Anyway, you don't like Utah is very beautiful too, where we were at.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Utah's
But
underrated.
but
That's a
like
good underrated
they
state.
don't sell real beer. Like 3.2 or 4% beer is like the highest you can get.
Yeah, that does knock them down a peg for
Yeah,
sure.
so like I think I can buy beer, like real beer, wherever I go, right? Like I can buy like 14% alcohol beer in a grocery store. It doesn't even tell me, right? It's not even like a thing.
Yeah, this stuff will make
14%
you
is really, really high, right?
yeah, this stuff will
Um,
make you crap your pants if you drink
but like
10 of
I
them.
did, I go to Minnesota and I can't even buy real beer in a grocery store, right? So they only sell 3.2 beer in grocery stores. So I think there's probably some laws in these places that I would not enjoy.
Oh yeah. I just found out in Florida, which probably has to be the skydiving capital. Maybe not. But I would assume it's one of the better places to skydive in our country. And it's illegal for women to skydive in Florida. I mean, they don't enforce it, but it
Did it,
is.
did
It's
they
like
like
one of those
just
laws like
recently pass this law, or is this like an ancient law?
you would think like with some of the shit that's getting passed down in Florida right now, but no. But anyways, do you got any more with the brain drain? We'll stop getting
No.
too
So
political,
I
man.
I could give us a brain drain, something that I've recently discovered on my computer that has like made my life better. Right? It's like
Okay.
more of a trick. It's not like
So
um,
yeah, this isn't brain drain. This is if you didn't know, now you know, sucker.
oh yeah. So now this might be good for that. So the Windows key on a PC, and then you hit over when you're in like, and it splits your screen in half. You hit
Yep.
the left arrow. So this is something I recently discovered, and now I essentially have 4 screens in my work computer instead of just 2, and that I really enjoy.
Oh yeah. You're living. I mean, you just caught up. But yeah, that's what I do. That's what I've been doing our whole podcast is breaking my screen into 4 screens. I
Okay.
got you on the right. I got our notes on the left of the right screen. And then I got 2 screens up on my other screen.
And this is one I don't use as much, but this is another little like trick that came in like the same time. And I don't use this one, but at work, like it can be helpful where I can switch desktops. I think it's like a task key. And I can't remember which key that was, like which ones I got to hit in order to get there. But like you can have a whole different desktop. So you can have all your stuff running on one desktop and then have like a completely different desktop, which doesn't have any of your anything that's running for your like your internet, even on that. Like it doesn't pull up at all.
Ooh,
And so
I might need to figure that out. I might have to
yeah,
Google that.
right. And so it's like a like desktop to desktop. Like so it'd be like almost like starting up a whole new computer and running it over on this side.
I
Or
like
not
that.
even on the side, but it like changes out your whole thing. So everything in the background is kind of like hidden or whatever.
Yeah, and then you can pull
I
up.
found
Okay.
that in the same like thing too. And so, but that one I don't use as much, but
And if you didn't know, now you know,
sucker.
sucker. All right. I think that will wrap up our show. As always, thank you for the support. We love you guys. We appreciate that. Like, subscribe, download, share. Like I said, even if you don't like us, talk shit about us, share us, because then we look at these little numbers and we feel kind of good about ourselves. And our numbers are going up. So hop on this train now
Yeah.
before you
So
get
like
left behind.
if you're not on this train before September, you can't say you were here from the beginning.
I think we should put out a challenge to get our most downloads in a month, which shouldn't be too hard, but maybe maybe we
Okay.
could do something like that. But
So that's a challenge for us or a challenge for other people, or like what's the end goal and what's the like
for the
why are
people
people
who consider us, like the people in there, but whatever.
we'll figure that out next week.
Yep. We'll forget about that before next week.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
All right, take us home, Mike.
All right. For all you suckers doubting Martin, the Brewers, the Badgers, the Packers, or the Bucks, you can eat our shorts. Roll it.